A farmer found footprints in the snow, leading from the woods straight to his house. He counted them carefully. Every single one pointed toward the door. Not one pointed away. Whoever made them never left. He told his neighbors about it. Then he went back inside. He didn't call the police. 6 days later, he was dead. So was his entire family. And whoever did it didn't leave either. For more than a week after, someone stayed inside that house, sleeping in their beds, eating their food, feeding their animals every morning like nothing happened. Cooking meals on their stove, neighbors saw smoke rising from that chimney for days after everyone inside was already dead. No one has ever been arrested for it. Over 100 years later, the case is still open. This is the Hinterkaifeck murders. Hinterkaifeck was a small, isolated farm in Bavaria, Germany, about an hour's drive north of Munich. The nearest neighbors were far enough away that no one could hear anything. Andreas Gruber ran the farm, 63 years old. His wife, Cecilia, was 72. Their daughter, Victoria, lived there too. She was 35, along with her 2 children. Cecilia, age 7. Josef, only 2. The family had a reputation locally, stern, private, not the type to invite anyone in. There were rumors too, about Andreas and his daughter Victoria. A previous court case had actually confirmed some of them, which made the household even more isolated by choice. In the months before the murders, strange things started happening. Their maid at the time quit suddenly. She told people it was because the house felt haunted. She said she kept hearing footsteps in the attic at night. No one else lived up there. Then, in March of 1922, Andreas found a newspaper on the property, from Munich, a paper nobody in the family read or subscribed to. He assumed the postman made a mistake, but no one nearby subscribed to that paper either. Around the same time, a house key went missing. No explanation. It simply wasn't where it always was. Then came the footprints, the ones leading from the forest to a door with a broken lock. Andreas told several neighbors about all of this. Footprints, missing keys, noises in the attic. He never went to the police. On the afternoon of March 31st, a new maid arrived. Maria Baumgartner, 44 years old. Her sister walked her to the farm and left soon after. Maria had worked there for less than a single day. That evening, something happened inside the barn. Investigators later reconstructed it from the injuries alone. Each family member appears to have been called out separately, one at a time, through the stable, toward the barn, each one killed before the next ever arrived. The weapon was a mattock, a heavy farm tool, like a pickaxe. Andreas was killed first, then his wife, then Victoria, then the 7-year-old. Maria, the maid on her first day, was killed inside the house itself. The 2-year-old Josef was found still in his bed. Autopsies later showed signs consistent with suffocation. No one heard anything. There was no one close enough to hear. For days, nobody realized anything was wrong. On April 1st, the older daughter missed school. The family missed church, where Victoria normally sang in the choir. Mail began piling up, uncollected, at the local post office. By April 4th, neighbors had grown concerned enough to go check. What they found inside was worse than anyone expected. All 6 bodies were eventually located in the barn and the house. Some had been covered deliberately with straw. Investigators quickly noticed something even stranger. The animals had been fed. Recently, food had clearly been cooked and eaten in the kitchen. Recently, a fire had been lit in the stove. Recently, all of it after the family was already dead. Someone had stayed in that house for days by most estimates, living among 6 corpses like it was an ordinary week. Investigators also found burned paper in the stove, possibly documents, possibly a diary. No one could be sure. Whatever it was, someone had deliberately destroyed it. Police at the time investigated for months. Dozens of suspects were questioned over the following years. One name came up more than any other: Lorenz Schlittenbauer, a neighboring farmer. He was rumored to be the biological father of Josef, the toddler. He'd proposed to Victoria once. She turned him down. He was also, oddly, the one who found some of the bodies. He was arrested more than once over the following years. Never charged, never convicted. He died decades later, having never been formally tied to the crime. The case went cold for most of the 20th century. Then, in 2007, German police reopened it, using forensic techniques that hadn't existed in 1922. They apparently identified a leading suspect, but the evidence by then was decades too old. too degraded. Nothing was strong enough to bring to trial. Out of respect for surviving relatives, police never released the name. So, officially, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved. To this day, some investigators believe it was personal, a grudge against Andreas. Others lean toward a robbery that went badly wrong, though nothing valuable was ever reported missing. A few point to the killer's behavior after the murders. Calm enough to cook meals, calm enough to feed livestock daily. For someone to do that next to 6 bodies for over a week suggests something most investigators still won't put into words. The farmhouse itself stood abandoned for years afterward. Locals reportedly avoided the property entirely. It was eventually torn down in 1923, less than 2 years later, as if the town wanted the place to stop existing. But the case itself never really closed. Every few years, someone reopens it, re-examines it, renames a suspect, and every time the same wall comes up. Not enough evidence, not after this many decades. What stays with people isn't just that 6 people were killed, it's the week afterward. Someone walked through that house every day, past the barn, past the bodies, and fed the animals anyway. If this got under your skin, subscribe. There's a new deep dive into something real every week.